So this is the introduction to a short series I'm going to be doing about refurbishing St Therese old house in the village. Now, since we built the new house, this one has largely been ignored. And the consequences of ignoring it are that it's rather deteriorated. We've got a leak in the roof in the kitchen area. We've got gutters such as these, rotten. We've got some cracks appearing in the house, as you can see up this wall here, which I attribute to the fact that we've got a problem with drainage, and so this area in the wet season is totally sodden, and so the weight of the house is able to bear down on the ground that was put here before it was built. Let's take you around the side here, around the back. It's a bit of a jungle. This was later gravel, but not very thick gravel, so the weeds are able to penetrate too easily. A wall that St Therese built to attempt to keep the water back has not really done a good job. The boundary line at the rear is where these posts are along here, so it's quite a compact plot. The main problem for this house is that it's built at the foot of a hill, and from that direction and further up the village tons of water comes down when it's monsoon season, and it has in the past hit the house and made it soaking wet, so the two bedrooms at this side have been rather damp. And I'll show you inside. This is the kitchen wall, that's damp. We did try and make a channel down here to let the water escape, and it works very well actually. There's a torrent of water goes down there. But the problem is that it's not well directed, and this area here gets flooded, the kitchen gets wet, and the whole thing needs to be redone, as you can see, to make it waterproof all the way around from the rain water that comes down the hill. Yes, unfortunately, even if we were living here full time, it would be a struggle to keep this place nice under its old building situation, so we're going to go for a major revamp to make this place a nice pleasant house to live in, rather than what it is at the moment, which is rather a liability. Let's just go around the back here. We're just walking through what is effectively a garage area. Got a couple of storage tanks here which I plumbed in, and a water pump which I plumbed in originally a few years ago, 4 years ago. That wall is the bathroom wall. The whole of this extension bit at the back, this lean-to bit, has subsided or leant over somewhat in the last couple of years, so we've got plans to deal with that. There's a lot of overgrowth encroaching on the roof, which doesn't help matters, because it will the branches get into all crooks and crannies, don't they? You can see it's growing underneath the roof covering there and around the gutters and heading for the house. Sorry, I think that was rather filming into the sun there, so you lost the picture. The house is traditional Thai style, so it's open eaves for ventilation, and unfortunately that lets cats in, and it also lets bugs in very, very easily. St Therese did put a ceiling in here, but unfortunately the cats were able to get into the roof space, and they've been walking across the ceiling and they've damaged it and gradually destroyed it. There's one bedroom here which looks terrible, but it has been abandoned for a couple of years, to be honest with you, and things have just been chucked in here, especially when the house has been used for ceremonies such as the one we unfortunately had recently. There's a hole in the roof there, as you can see. Another bedroom here. Can't even really get into this one properly. Bedroom over there. Traditional Thai living space, big sort of square living room that's used for multiple things. It's a great space. This is a very, very large house actually. This is the toilet here, toilet and shower room, which unfortunately, because of the subsidence, the door frame's gone completely skew-iff, so the door doesn't close. And the kitchen, which is a typical Thai kitchen really, open at one end, but we've had to sort of try and close it off with netting because of cats and dogs. And in the process of coming in here to review the situation and discuss what we're going to be doing, we discovered in this cupboard here, a cat has settled with its babies on a pile of wallpaper that's just been put in the cupboard. You won't see them now, but the 3 babies are in there. The mother's run off, she hasn't come back yet, but she'll be back later. We're just going to leave them there for the moment because we don't need to move them. But that just shows how abandoned this place has got when you've got a cat giving birth to 3 babies in a cupboard in the kitchen. Yeah, we've got a leak up in the roof there. That's just basically because the panels have never been put on properly. It's not been layered correctly, and indeed the lean-to bit, the panels could have been a lot longer and then they would have been underneath the house roof. Can you hear that? You can hear the mother there. Huge crack here. My view is that the house is moving that way because that's a post and the crack is on the right side of the post, so that suggests the house is moving to the right and the post has stayed still. And that would fit because the back of the house has always been very, very wet, because that's what takes the main amount of water when it's raining heavily. Now these cracks are obviously something we can deal with. They can be filled and the walls can be repainted and it won't look too bad. We've just got to stop the house moving really, which is it's not about underpinning at all. It's about preventing water from getting into the compound and making sure that any water that actually manages to fall from the sky is drained off efficiently. So that is the house, and we aim to start to refurbish it imminently. It's a fairly simple job in a way. There's a wall to build, we want to build a new boundary wall down this side and round the back, which is fairly straightforward. There's quite a bit of digging out to do, but it's a fairly straightforward job for our couple of builders that we always use. The toilet, shower room walls need to come down and be rebuilt because they're leaning over and they're likely to fall before they get too much older, even if we do prevent the ground from being too wet, especially as there's a rush of water outside of that area from the drainage. So they need to be rebuilt, and maybe we can make sure the footing's better this time. The ceiling is going to come down. Trey's decided that's going to come down. She's going to revert to the open eaves style of roof. It's really no harm. This house is effectively going to be occupied by members of the family. Centray's got 2 months left of holiday before she starts her work, and her work really means that she's away for long periods and back for very short periods where she needs to have a rest. So I'm very keen to press on with this and make her achieve this refurbishment in the next month, certainly before she goes back to work. So I will keep you updated with various videos as I make them.